Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Be Energized. My name is Brandon, your host. And before we start today's video, I just want to say make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new content. I'm going to be coming out with new electric vehicle videos every single weekend, so definitely subscribe and look forward to that. But for today's video, I have with me the 2019 Audi e-Tron. This is Audi's first all-electric vehicle, and this vehicle is brought to you today by Audi in Cuyahoga Falls. Thank you, Matt and Jeremy, for allowing me to bring out this car and do a more in-depth video of what this car has to provide. So, without further ado, let's get started on the Audi e-Tron review.
Section 1, Overview.
So this is Audi's first of many electric vehicles that are going to be coming out in the next few years. You have your Audi e-Tron. You also have the e-Tron Sportback, which is more of a coupe-like version of the e-Tron. And then you also have the e-Tron GT, which is coming out in a few years with multiple other electric cars coming out underneath the Audi brand. The Audi e-Tron comes in two different trims. You have your Premium Plus trim, which starts at an MSRP of $74,900, and then you also have a trim above that, which is the Prestige. The model that you see behind me right now is the Premium Plus model. So regardless of trim, you're going to have the same battery size. It comes with a 95 kilowatt battery pack with an estimated EPA range of 204 miles. The vehicle has about 355 horsepower and 414 pound-feet of torque. However, there is a boost mode in this vehicle that boosts your horsepower up to over 400 and about 490 pound-feet of torque, which guarantees this car to do a 0 to 60 time in about 5.5 seconds. It's pretty quick. So the Audi e-Tron comes standard with all-wheel drive. Audi is obviously famous for another thing. It's their all-wheel drive system, which they have named Quattro. The Audi e-Tron is no exception in that aspect either. It actually has two motors. There's one sitting on the front axle, and then there's one sitting on the rear axle. And what that does is that they work independent of each other to provide more traction for the car. The rear motor is going to work more often or more frequently, but then when it determines that it needs either more performance or more traction, the front motor actually engages, which creates this beautiful symmetry of all-wheel drive for the Audi e-Tron. So as you can tell, the e-Tron is a crossover SUV body style. It's about 193 inches long, and it's about 76.2 inches wide. The car itself weighs roughly over 5,600 pounds, and the battery pack that's actually planted underneath the vehicle weighs about 1,500 pounds. So it really plants the car to the ground. It has a nice sporty style. You can see how the roofline is very low. And what's actually really cool about this car is that you can actually raise the vehicle because it has an air suspension. So you can actually off-road in this car. The Audi e-Tron is a beautifully designed vehicle, and multiple designers actually had their hands in designing this vehicle. But the one thing that you may be wondering, if it is all electric, why does it have a grille? Well, Audi designers actually wanted to keep it in the family. You know, the other Q models in the Audi lineup have this beautiful styled grille, so they wanted to incorporate it somehow. But as you can tell from up close, it's actually mostly closed off for aerodynamic reasons. Obviously, there are a few openings right here for airflow, for possibly cooling some controls, some of the hardware on the inside, but it's actually mostly for aerodynamic reasons. There are active air curtains right around here, so the air will flow directly through here right over the brakes to create a more aerodynamic design. Audi really wanted the vehicle to stand out is that it is a different vehicle compared to their other lineup, but it's still an Audi, and that's where its heart is. So for the Premium Plus models, you have these standard 19-inch rims. You can also upgrade to 20-inch rims as an option. However, these 5-spoke rims are actually pretty nice. Now on the Premium or the Prestige model, you can also upgrade to a 21-inch rim that has 15 spokes. They're a beautiful design. And I think Audi has done a really good job with these rims. So obviously the Audi e-Tron is a SUV-based style. So it has a power liftgate. I don't want that to fall, but you double click on the key fob and it opens up this beautiful trunk. Obviously you can see that because it is an SUV style, you have a mass amount of storage space. You can fold the seats flat. There's actually more storage underneath here, and it comes with a spare tire, which is actually pretty rare nowadays. So Audi did a really good job with designing this and allowing you to have plenty of storage options. In fact, talking about storage options, there's actually a pretty unique one right up front. And kind of similar to any other vehicle, there's a latch right here. And you pull this up. And you may wonder, where's the storage space? Well, they actually hid it underneath this plastic right here to kind of hide and protect whatever you're putting underneath here. And it's also kind of a nod to their gasoline power cars because it kind of looks like an engine. But in fact, the storage space is right here. And another thing I wanted to talk about, what's really cool about the Audi e-Tron is that they actually provide a charger that comes with the vehicle that works with both level 1 and level 2 chargers. You just simply switch out a cable, and then you can plug into a NEMA 1450 outlet, which is just your standard dryer line in your garage. So it's pretty nice that they provided this. A lot of manufacturers do not provide a cable like that, and which can be more expensive when you have to install more chargers at your house. So thank you, Audi, for doing that. Standard feature on the Premium Plus model, which also is standard on the Prestige, is this 360 camera system that they call top down with virtual 3D. So what this is that there's multiple cameras around the e-Tron. The first one is right in the center logo, just right underneath. And then there's going to be another one under each side mirror. So there's going to be one right underneath the blinker. And then there's going to be another camera around back. And this is kind of where your backup camera is. And then another camera similar to the other side is just right underneath the side mirror. So if you want to come back out in the sun, since it's in Ohio and we love the sun here, what the system does is that it works in tandem with each other to stitch together a live video feed. So when you're backing the vehicle up, you have a 360 virtual image around what's around the e-Tron. So it also helps with safety, helps with your parking job, things of that nature. So it's a really cool feature, and it comes standard on the Premium Plus trim level. So Audi's big claim to fame is their headlight design. They've designed beautiful headlights ever since 2008 when they had the Audi R8 sports car. And the e-Tron is no exception. As you can see, you have these beautiful turn signals. These are what they call matrix designed headlights, and these come standard on all trims of e-Trons. And they're full LED, they're bright, they're beautiful, and they help light up the road for your safety. So obviously Audi is very famous for their lighting design, and the rear end of the Audi e-Tron is no exception. It has this beautiful LED strip that literally follows the width of the vehicle, and it has their claim to fame dynamic turn signals. So you have these beautiful LED lights that follow the width of the vehicle as if they're alive. Audi did a really good job with the rear end of the Audi e-Tron. So the e-Tron comes in multiple different colors. Standard color is going to be black with no upcharge, but the other colors are an upcharge for about $595. So the white behind me is an option, but it's nice to have multiple different options. There's a beautiful red, there's an absolutely beautiful blue that you can choose from, silver, gray, and multiple other colors. As far as the interior, there's 3 different options that you can choose from. There's a beige, a black, and a brown interior color option. So there's plenty of ways to customize your e-Tron.
Section 2, Charging and Battery Technology.
Obviously, electric cars are going to charge at different rates, and the Audi e-Tron is pretty cool with how it does its charging. Obviously, with all electric vehicles, there's 3 different ways to charge. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is going to be your slowest, and on the Audi e-Tron, if you plug it into a 110 volt outlet, it's going to take about 90 hours to charge your car from 0 to 100%. Level 2, which is going to be something that you find either in your garage or you get installed in your garage, or public charging, can charge your car from 0 to 100% in about 9 hours. It has a 9.1 kilowatt onboard charger. And then what's also incredibly cool about the Audi e-Tron is that when it comes to level 3 DC fast charging, it has it's able to accept 150 kilowatts, which is actually almost a leading standard in terms of fast charging. It gives you about 0 to 80% in about 30 minutes. Pretty impressive, Audi. Another thing with charging is actually pretty cool. Audi actually partnered with Amazon to help their e-Tron buyers get a charger installed a little bit more easier. When you're getting a level 2 EVSE installed in your garage or at your house, sometimes it's a little confusing. It can be hard to get a hold of an electrician. You never know what kind of rates they're going to provide and so forth. So what Audi has done in an industry first, they partnered with Amazon to make the process more simple. They partnered with Amazon to provide you information on chargers, kind of the highest rated chargers, and what's actually really cool is that they partnered with electricians to help get the chargers installed at your house in one simple process. It's pretty easy to do. So what's really cool about the Audi e-Tron's charge port is that when you look at the side of the vehicle, you might not even realize that there is a charge port here. But in fact, there actually is. So if you follow the e-Tron name, there is a little hidden button right here. You press that, and it reveals the charge port. It's all mechanical. It's pretty cool. So what this is that standard, there's a J1772 standard charger right here. And then if you pull down this little flap, you have your 2 DC fast charging pins. So the Audi is equipped with the CCS standard charger. And all you have to do is simply, well, when you want to close this, you flip that shut, press that button, and you're on your way. It's that easy.
One thing I wanted to mention is that when your cable is plugged into the vehicle, you might think that it's stuck, when in fact, it's actually locked into the car. So what do? What you do is you press and hold the button that you use to open the charge port for a few seconds and wait. This button will actually unlock the charge port and will allow you to remove the charging cable. Then from there, you press and you pull it out, and voila, it's that easy.
Audi e-Tron has a 95 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's lithium ion composed, and it sits underneath the body of the vehicle, kind of like a skateboard. It weighs about 1,500 pounds, and the way Audi designed their battery pack is that it's compiled of 32 different pouches, and within those pouches, there's multiple different battery cells, and they are sitting in a conductive gel, which also helps kind of act as a heat sink for thermal control and efficiency. So hence kind of why the Audi e-Tron gets about 204 miles of range, which is a little less compared to its competitors at this price point. But what's really cool about this battery technology is Audi really focused on lifespan, efficiency, and thermal control. The battery itself actually is active at all times, keeping the battery at a temperature between 77 degrees and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. If you can think about that, at any given time that it's almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you can see why it uses a lot of electricity, hence why the driving range isn't nearly as far compared to its competitors. But if the battery pack is going to last a long time, then I'd much rather have it be more energy efficient based on it protecting itself.
Audi has also partnered with Electrify America, a company that's installing DC fast charging stations all across the United States. They have provided e-Tron drivers with 1,000 kilowatts for free, so enjoy your electric road trip. Section 3, Interior.
So the Audi e-Tron interior is beautifully designed and as well as thoughtfully designed. It's very driver oriented. You have multiple screens that are actually tilted more towards the driver. You have your standard virtual cockpit, and then you have a 10.1 inch touch display as well as an 8.1 inch touch display down here. And pretty much everything is controlled either with voice, the steering wheel, or these touchscreens. Pretty cool. The Audi e-Tron also has a standard panoramic sunroof. As you can see, there is a sunshade down right now. If you want to open it, you just simply pull that back, and it starts going back. It's really nice. It's nice and powered. It's pretty quick, and it lets the sun in. And since we're from Cleveland, Ohio, we're not used to the sun, so it kind of burns.
The interior of the Audi e-Tron is no joke. Audi did a great job choosing materials, making sure everything is driver focused, and utilizing great technology. For example, like these rear vents with a quad climate control system, as well as rear heated seats. There's also vents in the B pillars that allows for more airflow for rear passengers, so there is no lack of creature comforts. The e-Tron comes standard with push button start, and literally with the push of a button, all the screens come alive. So the Audi e-Tron comes equipped with 3 different screens. This is the lower 8.1-inch touch display, used mostly to control the climate, as you can see. But what's really cool about the touchscreens in the e-Tron is that they offer haptic feedback, just like you're pushing a button, which gives a good feedback to the driver, letting them know that they selected something on the screen. This is a 12.3-inch display that Audi calls the virtual cockpit, which we'll get into in a second. And then this is the second 10.1-inch display, also offering haptic feedback and multi-touch. So the best part of these screens, regardless of the information you're going to be receiving from them, is that the virtual cockpit is pretty much customizable. There's 3 different dashboards that you can choose from. There's Classic, e-Tron, and Sport. The one you're seeing right now is Classic. This is going to be more of a clean readout, and you can adjust it, the gauges and everything that you see using the steering wheel. So it's pretty user-friendly, and it's all right in front of you. Classic will give you more of an in-depth view of your regen, how much power you're putting towards the motors, and so forth. When you're utilizing e-Tron, this is going to be more of a readout based on your efficiency. So it's going to show you your driving style, how much range you have, how many kilowatts or how many miles per kilowatt you're getting, and so forth. And then the last one is sport mode. This is going to be more of an aggressive readout, more red dials, more performance-oriented information. Now the e-Tron has literally one of the coolest shifters I have ever seen. You push up to go into reverse, pull down to go into neutral, and then all the way down for drive. And then if you go into park, you just simply press that button. It's really that simple. It also has a standard electronic parking brake, but the coolest thing about this shifter is that it feels so good in your hands and it's so easy to learn. Also, another cool feature about the e-Tron, similar to the 360 camera system that I mentioned before, this is where you're going to see it. You have a 3D readout where it actually stitches together the image from multiple cameras to give you that display. So you can see, you can kind of run your finger over this 3D image of an e-Tron to show you what's around you, which is pretty cool. There is multiple different camera angles you can choose from the side, the back. You can also kind of do a 360 readout from above, so it's almost like a sky view camera. The backup camera actually has different angles, like you can zoom in, you can do obviously, from above, you can see from the side, more from the rear side panels, and so forth. This camera system is just unbelievable, and the e-Tron is really a technological marvel in the fact that Audi was able to incorporate all of this just utilizing cameras. I'm really excited to see where this technology goes, and I really hope other manufacturers start utilizing multiple cameras. Section 4, Driving Impressions. So as we start driving impressions, I just want to be very honest with the viewers. We were lacking some equipment when it comes to the driving. We only had a single GoPro car mount that allowed us only to get a pretty much fixed view of driving with the e-Tron. I did pick up a swivel mount. So that should be more useful when it comes to getting other angles. So definitely be on the lookout for future videos. But if you're watching this and you only see one angle, it's really because we could only manage to mount the GoPro on the back of the bolt and on the front of the bolt, which really only allowed for this straight on view. But I definitely think that it worked well. and it allowed us to get some good footage. Anyways, so driving impressions. The Audi e-Tron is a very impressive electric vehicle. I have driven multiple electric vehicles, especially some in this price point and luxury category, and the e-Tron left me impressed. The best part, honestly, I think, is that because it is an Audi, it feels super sturdy and very well made, and that's a very good thing. And I really believe, since it has Audi in its blood, that just brings all the heritage and the legacy of Audi vehicles into the e-Tron that makes it just more enticing for electric vehicle drivers. I really liked how the car handled. The suspension was very luxurious, very supple. Due to it riding on an air suspension, I actually believe that helped kind of absorb a lot of the bumps that we find here in the Akron and Cleveland, Ohio area. Obviously, if you're from this area, you know the roads aren't exactly the best, and the e-Tron did very well handling those bumps and potholes. Highway driving literally was totally easy, with it having close to over 400 horsepower. We got up to speed quickly. It's quiet. It's very almost like you're just riding on a cloud on the highway. I would almost say that it's probably one of the most comfortable electric vehicles I've ever driven. I drive a Chevy Bolt every single day, so that's really no comparison. But the e-Tron definitely was very easy to drive on the highway and very comfortable. And the safety features as well was great. The blind spot warning was great. Visibility was great. That was actually one thing I was really impressed with, because it is such a long vehicle. The windows were very wide and open, and there was literally no blind spots, which is great. Now, the Audi e-Tron is a very heavy car, weighs about 5,600 pounds, and you may be wondering just how agile the car is. I felt like the car was agile. I feel like if I had more of a experience or a longer time with the vehicle, I'd probably get some more experience driving in parking lots. But merging in and out of lanes, you know, just adjusting to the lane markings and stuff like that, the car did very well. It is a very long car, so I felt like the steering adjusted itself correctly based on what I was trying to do. So the driving input was good. I felt like I was always in control. It didn't feel artificial at all, which is also good. But I also kind of give that credit to the fact that it is an Audi product, and Audi just makes such good vehicles. And I know that this really doesn't have to do with driving impressions, but since we are talking about the car being on the road, this car attracts attention. When you look at it driving down the road, you can tell that it is a very unique and special Audi product. And I think a lot of people who are familiar with Audi, but not necessarily the e-Tron, this is something that is going to be enticing to new customers. Just how it looks, how it acts on the road, the performance and everything is just very cool. One of the cool things that I really like about the e-Tron is the sound that it makes when it's driving. And now I didn't get a chance to record that sound just because I didn't have as much time with the vehicle as I would like. Hopefully in the future I'll get a chance to record more with it. But it almost sounds like a spaceship taking off. It's very futuristic, and it's very ear-catching, if you want to call it that. It definitely attracts attention. But overall, I was left very impressed with how the Audi e-Tron handles on the roads here in Cleveland, and I would love to drive it more and get more of an in-depth feel for what it's like to drive it for more than just a few hours. So that's going to be it for today's video of the review and overview of the 2019 Audi e-Tron. I just want to take a final moment to thank Matt and Jeremy of Audi in Cuyahoga Falls for allowing me to take their e-Tron out and doing a more in-depth video. If you guys like this video, definitely like and share with your friends. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be coming out with new electric vehicle videos every single weekend. Some new exciting stuff. I have a lot of things planned, some events coming up and everything. But regardless, let's focus on the e-Tron. Let's start a conversation. And if you guys are in the market for a very impressive luxury electric vehicle, definitely go see Matt and Jeremy in Audi at Cuyahoga Falls. I think you guys would be very impressed, and try to get a chance to do a test drive with the e-Tron. But once again, guys, thank you for supporting Be Energized, and make sure you make every single day electrifying. Take care.